We are here. We're a little late, and I'll apologize off the bat. That was my fault. I was talking and talking and talking,
It's
and then I
fine.
almost said another thing, and then I was like, "Hold on, this is a thing that we should be saving for on air." So sorry, everyone. Mary's here again. We're gonna
Hi,
talk about our
guys.
books. I did this already. That's not right. There she is. She's over there, and I have to put up Richard's comment that says this stream
Fantastic.
starts at 12:30 a.m. for him. So he's not gonna be here. When I will hopefully be sleeping. Hopefully you are, Richard. My
Right?
update for you is that Plutona has just been delivered, and I've just started watching Bones. I
Wow.
love those updates. So funny.
He's doing his homework.
Yeah, I love that. I see you already commented back. Look at you.
I know. I jumped right in.
Love that. Thank you for the book stack, James. That is what this is about. Book stacks always.
Yep. Yep. Hello, James.
Well, I think we should talk about what we've read recently, right?
We should.
We
Actually,
should.
I was like getting a little nervous as of like yesterday morning. I'm like, am I going to have anything completed to talk about?
Oh,
But you'll be so happy. I was like, I did my
well,
homework yesterday. So,
I love that. And you'll see the
yeah.
little measly things that I've read.
I don't know.
Uh,
I've been creeping on you on
yeah.
Instagram, and it looks like you've been busting open a lot of books with the cats. So
Have I read all the ones I've posted? Maybe not, but I've maybe started all of them. That's good, right?
it all counts. They're pages in a book.
You know, you know. Um, Hayden saying we're
Hayden,
icons. Lovely Hayden.
Hayden,
We love you.
this is yeah. I was gonna say this is why we love you.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike's here. What's up,
Hey,
guys? What's up,
Mike.
Mike? Good to see you. All right, you want to kick it off then? I feel like you're proud of what you did, right?
Well, I'm proud that I accomplished some stuff,
Well, we'd love that.
but I got to tell you, not to be like spoilery on what I read, but everything was just meh. I wasn't like
Hmm.
really dazzled by anything, unless I'm forgetting something. Nah.
I gotta tell you, I had one dazzle among the
Dazzle.
group. I had some fine things, right? And then I had one that you already heard some stuff about
Oh, I know what that's gonna be.
that I gave a whopping a 1 star to.
And
So,
you didn't think twice about giving that thing a 1 either.
I kind of did. I started
Did
with a
you?
2. And then I
Mm.
was like, why am I giving it a 2? Because then I started talking about it and talking about it. And I was telling Reid about it. I was going off.
Oh
And he's
boy.
like, you gave this a 2. And I was like, you're right. And I changed it. So look forward to that. But I want to hear what you got going on first.
Okay, first, sorry to kick oh boy, I already lost my screenshot. Sorry to kick things off with a non-comic, but the first thing I completed was the first book in the Dexter series. Now this is one of my
Already?
favorite shows, right?
Mhm.
So I did borrow this from the library. I know it looks like a book, but I listened to the audiobook. And it's narrated by the author, Jeff Lindsay. Okay, here are my thoughts. I gave it 3 stars. I did enjoy it. Like, I don't want to, act like I didn't enjoy it. And I didn't go into it being like a tough critic because that's rough, right? Like, depending on let's say you read a series, you read the book first, and then you watch the show. I feel like you tend to be harder on the show then, right? But I went the opposite route. So obviously, I watched the Dexter series many times, so I know it very well. So I wasn't sure how I would feel about the book. I did enjoy it, and this is the first time I'm probably ever saying this because typically I just like always love an audiobook. I think this series I'd be better off reading either the ebook or the physical book on because I don't love how Jeff Lindsay narrates it.
Mm. You hear that, Jeff Lindsay?
I mean, and I think that played a role on like how I felt about it. But I did have like what's that like I shouldn't say this, but like a come to Jesus moment
Hmm.
that made me think of something you always remind me of, like particularly when I don't love a book. You're always like, "Well, Mary, like for me, it was always great to like revisit these characters." And I always understood what you meant by that, but I never really felt it myself. And now, oops. Oh my god. This is going to be this is going to be a day. I almost just like Okay, hang on, guys. Pause. Okay, I get it now after listening to this. What you're talking about. It was great to like, chat with all of my, not chat, but revisit all my friends in the Dexter universe. Um, and a lot of it from this first book was like exactly how it was in the show. Towards the end of it, things started to be very different, which I didn't mind, because I think what they ended up doing with the show in certain scenes, I get why they went the different route. So in that regard, I thought it was done well. But Mary, when she does continue, is going to go over to the physical books. So
I love you referring to yourself in the third person.
Mary, that's me. Mary M.
Yeah, love it. Love it so much. Okay, well, that's exciting. And I'm glad you get it. It's like, I think you're probably thinking of when I read, like, I don't know, Boom Buffy. And I'm like, hey, this is garbage.
Yeah,
But I got to hang out with my friends again. So
exactly.
there's some fun stuff in there,
And I think a lot of it has to do with, well, Dexter as we knew it, the original series, I'm not talking about the reboot. That's over. So it's like fun to I think there's an extra layer of fun when you can revisit, in the same way with books, right? Like we talked about Sweet Tooth with the
Mm.
return. You're like, well, the way you read it, you read Sweet Tooth, and then what was it, years later, right? You read
Hmm.
the return and it was different for you. And I think it was probably a better experience for you because I read through the whole thing like a fiend. Whereas you had a little break, it's like you got to miss them
Right.
a little bit,
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like that's definitely a different reading experience for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Good evening. Uh,
Hello.
James has read the Dexter books. They deal a lot more with
Oh,
Rita kids.
that'll be interesting.
I did Darkly Dreaming this week too. I think reading physically
Ah.
would help because I enjoyed it that way.
See, Hayden, you bought like the whole bundle, didn't you? I remember you saying you got like a good deal on the whole bundle.
Love that.
Um, do you know, because James mentioned Rita's kids, do you know who plays Rita?
Is that Julie Benz? I
Yes.
knew Julie Benz was in the show. I saw the
Yeah.
first episode. I don't remember any character, but I
Okay.
just assume you said that because I would know Julie Benz.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for the other books because that's where the storyline is a whole separate beast from the
Ah,
show, apparently. Okay,
that makes sense.
that's
Cool.
fun.
Nice.
Well, guys, I know. I read a floppy issue.
Wow.
Some people are gonna be like, "You read a single issue? I can't deal with that." But it happened. Batmanda read a few volumes of Invincible this week, and now I'm reading On a Sunbeam.
Nice.
Batmanda, is this your first time reading On a Sunbeam? I'm so excited about this.
I knew that would make you happy.
So excited. Yeah, I found a site that has box sets and series bundles for less than, oh, that's a good
Ah.
deal. That's a good deal.
Am I
Love
able to
that.
utilize that site in the States? Hmm?
Good question, because if you know how we feel about Book Outlet,
Oh.
it's another show. Probably not. It'll probably be this show too.
Which, by the way, not to interrupt because you're just getting started, but I
We
did
want an
receive,
update, right?
right. I don't know if everybody remembers. I lost my mind over my book outlet box that arrived, where more than half of my order was completely missing. They did do it right. I got a the email was like this long.
Okay, good.
They owned it. They apologized. They resent the books, but one of the books that I bought was no longer available. So that kind of sucks.
Bummer.
Um, but the rest arrived, and the box was kind of busted, but oddly, oddly, the books were fine. So,
You mean they're brand new, really good boxes?
I mean,
That kind of box was busted? Really?
I just want to know. I promise this won't be a big book outlet thing. How come no one else talks about it? Like maybe we're just not seeing it. I don't see it on any social media
Yeah,
platform. I don't
I don't
see it on
either.
on here. Like
I
I
don't
don't
get it
know.
either.
But okay,
We're the only honest ones. That's what's happening.
maybe we're not afraid to tell the truth.
Yeah. But if anyone else sees people telling the truth about that, we want to know.
Please tell us.
Also, I love that Batmanda is loving On a Sunbeam so far.
Nice.
Love that. They're not in the States
Oh,
yet. They're planning to expand outside of the UK.
oh,
Also,
cool.
the packaging was amazing. The set of books was double layered and bubble wrapped and extra safe packaging around it too.
Wow.
Hayden, let us know the moment they're
Please,
in the States because we
please
would love
do.
that. Love that. So the floppy. Okay, so I read a
Well,
single issue. This is one that my friend Kyle gave me, and I was very excited about it. And I know Reed's already read it. My friend Kyle, Kyle Starks. You guys should read his comics; they're really good. Um, just saying. I hate this place. Just nominated for a GLAAD award, so we love that.
wow.
Yeah, but do a Powerbomb by Daniel Warren Johnson. So
Nice.
if you know anything about this, it is about this wrestler here. Daniel Warren Johnson, of course, did Murder Falcon, which is a big favorite in this household. And Kyle's actually the one that got me into local wrestling. So I hang out with Kyle, go see local wrestling. So it all just kind of came together with this, right? And I really like this first issue. Of course, the art is fantastic. And it starts out with this little girl and her mom, who is a professional wrestler. And I don't even think it's a spoiler. It happens really soon on, but something like a tragedy happens. And then she grows up, the little girl, to want to be a wrestler like her mother, right? But the industry is kind of keeping her down from that because of what happened with her mom. It's a whole thing. I'm very interested to see where this goes. I don't have the other issues. I don't think it's collected yet, but the moment it is, I plan to read that on Hoopla at least, and I'm looking forward to it. So this was a 4 for me, solid floor, uh,
Nice.
and I'm excited about it.
That's right up your alley.
James says "Do a Powerbomb" is amazing. It also has a great ending. Love to hear that.
Ooh.
Love to hear that. I bought so many books from Book Outlet from way back when they had a different name. Packaging was never been their strong suit.
Wait,
Yeah,
remind me what the name was. I feel like I know this, but I can't remember.
I don't remember it by another name. Maybe I wasn't aware of it back then. Read a few issues and liked it. I think Cherry Paperback is coming out. Yes, it
Nice.
should be soon. I think they're all like out, all the issues. Books to door. The site
Ooh.
says while they expand, you can contact customer service and they may be able to quote you on shipping.
Oh, thank you, Hayden.
We'll see if that's worth it.
Nice. I think it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
All right. I feel like this is all we talk about. Blood on the tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're beyond me now, right?
I think
Yeah,
I
I
think I
haven't read
went
that one.
right around
You were
you.
like, bye.
See ya.
Too slow.
So I like this volume, and for a while there, I was thinking that it was the end because I think I looked somewhere and it said like volume 12 of 12. I'm like, what? That was the end? It's not the end. There's at least a volume 13 coming out. I think I want to say in the spring. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
But this was the first volume I think I started to feel like it was dragging a bit. Like there's a
Oh
lot
no.
of like more of the same. And I know it's annoying when we talk about this manga series because we can never really say what it's about because it truly will spoil the crazy, bizarre ride that it is. It's the first time in these volumes I started to feel like a little impatient. Like, come on, let's go. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. Listen, I'm not going to complain. I've been borrowing these from the library and I've been enjoying them. But this was the first volume I was like a little like antsy with.
I feel like it has to end soon.
I think so too. Or
You know.
they need to like there has to be like a major plot twist and like something else bizarre happens that we can focus on because this like same thing, the same
Mm.
basically we'll call it like I don't know, we'll just say like a whodunit or a case. Like it needs to come to some sort of resolve. And every time I can't wait for you to read this one because we need to talk because there are times where I was feeling like, am I not understanding this? Like
Mm.
I don't know.
Okay.
I had some of those moments.
Well, I look forward to it at least. So, well, one because they're breezy easy, right? They're just
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
so great to just devour. I don't think I bought that one though. I need to buy it.
Oh
So
yeah, okay.
yeah, my library unfortunately they're like, no, we're not doing that. I guess. That's a bummer though, but
Yeah,
I think it will end soon. I feel like I read
I think
somewhere
so.
that it's contained at least. So instead of blood on the tracks, it's more like sludge on the tracks. Am I right?
Oh, look at you.
Book Outlet used to be called Book Closeouts, I think.
Okay, that sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blood on the Tracks Volume 13 coming out in May. Thank you,
Hey,
James. James knows what's up, always.
always, always, always.
So I read this weird book. And I have to like in my phone down here be like, what did I rate this? All right. I read Creepy.
I mean,
I
the title is fantastic.
It is. And Geron Quarterly put this out. I got this from my library. If you'll see here, this gnome, she's painted his ear. That's all I can really say to you, I think. On the back as well, there was a cat. So like I had to do that, right?
Okay.
And the end pages are all ears.
I mean, what else would be there?
Right. And I'm not going to ruin the story because it's quite short. It's set up kind of like a picture book, but I like the art. I'll tell you, I like the art.
Oh, it's cool.
I was very interested in what was happening. Again, I feel like I can't tell you. You know what? On the back, okay, it says, "What's up with this book? How come it's so creepy?" This kid's saying that, right? And this other kid says, "I'm not giving it away. You need to read it to find out. What are you waiting for?" So I had to know, why is it so creepy? I gave it 2 stars.
Oh.
Here's the thing. I feel like I can't tell you why unless you read it. And it's so short that I do feel like if you see this at your library, you should probably pick it up and just experience it.
All right. Challenge.
But I'm also
accepted.
like, what? I walked away from it like, what did I just read?
Were you angry when you finished it?
I was not angry.
Okay.
I was confused. And it was oddly a little entertaining, but I don't know that I liked it. Do you know what I mean?
Was it creepy?
No. Maybe.
Did the ears play a role in the story?
Yes.
Of course they did. Is this
Yes.
some? Is it Vincent? Is it like a Van Gogh thing? Like, no.
No.
Alright.
You know what? If you want after the program, I could read it to you really fast because it's very short. So
Oh, story time.
I could just read it to you real quick. You put it on your Goodreads. Be like, I listened to the audiobook.
Oh my god, yeah.
So we could do that. Anyway, I just thought it would be entertaining, and it was. And it was worth the library read, but I didn't love it.
I got you. I got you.
Hey guys, hello. Quick question. Do you guys text each other about comics? And the other one says, save it for the show. Is that a thing?
We say something very similar. We'll start and be like, oh, I'm reading such and such. Oh, I'm going to save it for content.
Yeah, it's always save it for content.
But we're not saying it like we take ourselves seriously. It's just like more like a joke.
Right. Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, there's my 1-star read. I have already went into pretty depth. Yeah. Pretty much depth to Mary about it already. So she's heard it all. I couldn't let that one out. I had to. I was like, I can't keep that in.
Yeah, you were having a tough time that day with that thing.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time.
That's all right. That's all right. That's what the library's for. Right?
Right.
You borrowed it, right?
Yeah, Libby.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Libby.
Thanks, Libby.
I just had another quick look on Books to Door. They have those big pricey manga box sets from 40 to 50% off. I'm in love.
Hayden, you are sending us to that website, aren't you?
I'm stoked for you, Hayden, though, because I know, like, overseas, like, they're just versus the States, like, the websites for these things, they've never really been there. So that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Plus an extra 10% if you use their app. Hayden, use the app. Come on. That's awesome.
Speaking of apps.
Yeah. Goodreads trash. I know.
No. Don't you find it? Why doesn't IST have an app? Is there some reason, like...
Well, I'll tell you what. It took them like 74 years to update their website.
Whoa!
So that's just a dramatic number I threw out there. But it took them a long time to upgrade their website, and
Yeah.
it's better. It's still not the best.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like, oh, an easy thing to do, but I just feel like for them, if they had an app, their business would like, I don't know.
I feel like it is.
Like,
It didn't used to be mobile friendly. It is now, so that's nice.
yeah, it's true.
I think they're behind some years with that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just manpower, I'm sure, or woman
I think
power.
that's part of it too,
Yeah,
because they are still a small
yeah, I get that.
company. But it would be nice. It
It
would
would
be
be
nice, especially if there's some kind of like incentive.
yeah, yep.
They also need. I
Like
think they
Aiden
need
said,
rewards. Yeah, I think they need rewards points, but at the same time, they do still have the extra 2%. So like that's the thing that makes sense, right? That's good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Oh, I meant to respond to your voice memo. I'll just do it in public.
Okay, cool.
But I listen. You're like, great, private talk.
Private.
No, it was about ISC, and because you were like, I want to get an Omni, and I totally listened to it. I was like, yeah, and I was gonna say something. I think I totally forgot. So I'm remembering it right now as we talk about IST. But what was the Omni you were looking at?
The
Wolverine.
Wolverine Volume 3, yeah.
Okay, and you were like, not that I've read the other two, and I wanted to be like Mary did the same thing. I was like, I have also not read the other two,
Oh, you
but I feel like I want it. I didn't buy
yeah,
it. And then I was like, I even picked out a cover. I was like, which one's my favorite? Like, put that
right?
on my wish list.
I did too.
And then I was like, which one did you pick?
I don't know, you're gonna I'll look I'll pull it up.
All right, all right.
I wonder if we
Share
picked
your
the same
screen.
ones.
Just kidding, because we can figure that out. What do we just?
Wouldn't you die if I figured it out right now?
That'd be so
Poor
good.
Jess.
Oh, Jess, we love you. It's fine.
So I have to say I didn't really love any of the covers. Did you?
I felt similar. I felt similar.
I think, if I had to pick, I'd go with the Jim Lee
Okay.
direct market. What
I
about you?
think I don't remember which one it was, but I think I ended up wanting the white one for some reason.
Let me see. I gotta
With a
pull 'em
white
up.
background.
Is this exciting for everybody hearing us describe what's on a website? I think I like the white cover.
Yeah, the one with white. I don't know.
Oh, I see it. See, but the way he's like, the way his body's going, like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's weird. It is weird.
It looks like
You're
he
right.
got like someone goosed him and he like woo flew up in the air, you know.
You're right. I don't love it now. You've changed my mind. So when I inevitably probably buy it, I'll get a different one. Watch me pull up the white one the next show. I bought the white one.
Oh wait, what's the other one? The other one is Silvestri. Yeah, that I kind of like that one. I don't
You're
know.
like, I like them all, but the white one.
I like them all, but that white one where he gets goosed.
So then I also saw. Also, I love this. If anyone's watching, and they're like, shouldn't you guys like know when things come out? Look, I
We
used
don't
to
really.
know. I
Yeah.
used to be so like I used to be like, oh, I know exactly when everything's coming out. But then I realized when I was like that, I would buy those things.
Yep.
So if I'm blissfully ignorant to when things come out,
Yep.
I don't buy them because I don't know about it. Or I'm not anticipating it, and then I look at new releases. I'm like, okay, that came out, and I just put it in my wish list because guess what? Like I tell my dad all the time, that stuff's gonna be reprinted. We'll be fine. It's
right.
fine. I'm not worried about it. Like, and it's like you said, if we had just read the first two, itching for the third, get the third. It makes sense, but
Yep. And listen, I am not. 38% is a great percentage off because where are you getting 38% off at Omni? I'm not ragging on IST, but like I'm being a little stingy with my money. Like I want the percentage off a little bit better. Maybe somebody will like return one and it'll be damaged and then I can buy it at 50% off.
I bet that will happen. They'll get the white cover and they'll be like, we don't like this.
What is this? What is it doing?
50% off.
Here's the thing with the white cover. It looks like he was like removed from a scene. Maybe I'm
like,
wrong.
kind of pulled off.
I don't claim to be any kind of Wolverine historian, so don't come for me, anyone. But the rest have like backgrounds and stuff on. I don't know. I don't know.
I love that. But then I saw Ultimate Spider-Man 2 came out.
I love that we're talking about this.
I really and I didn't buy it, but I sure put one in my wish list.
That's okay.
because that's one I did really want to get, but I still haven't. So again, the one recently, which I think I showed you, Gwenpool, I definitely got that.
Yeah, you had to get that.
I
You had
had to
been
get that.
talking about that for so long, like
The other one I feel like I'm definitely getting is Squirrel Girl.
when does that one come out?
Is it February, James? Because I feel like it is. I don't remember exactly when. I'll look it up.
I have
I
to
don't.
say,
I don't think I
I
can
w
beat James though.
I was
Sorry.
surprised at the Gwenpool cover you picked.
Were you?
Yeah. You're like, "Why are you saying that?"
What do you mean about my cover?
I don't know about your cover selections.
I mean, wow. You tell me I have bad. You know what? I'm gonna show it. Hold on. Let me find this date. Okay, February 8th. Squirrel Girl. Got
Okay.
it.
Here's what I would think that you would be bothered by that Gwenpool cover that you bought. The way it's like in a box. Like, it's just like
Here's the thing. I don't love that.
okay.
Let me get to it though, because James, it's February 8th. I just checked. Just heads up.
Wait.
March 21st. I don't know where that date's from. Or have they not updated it in previews and I'm wrong?
Oh.
James, let me know, because you probably know. Is it March 21st now? I'm sad.
Did you see wait, did you see what Hayden said? That they whited out everything around him in Microsoft Paint.
That means I need that cover because that sounds great. So I have to actually move all the books I put on top of Gwenpool like a maniac. Hold on. Let's see. Can I do this without crying?
Please don't knock anything over. I don't want to upset the
Reid.
the Reid.
There we go. Ooh, I did it. Look at me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the DM variant. With this is the first ever Gwenpool cover where
Okay.
she's chilling in the pool, and then there's the bloody, what is it? A bloody feet? Yeah, legs. They're legs.
Sure.
So she just killed that guy, but she's chilling, right? I don't love that it's boxed in like this. I really don't love that. However, I like a good spine, right? And this is not a good spine because, as you know, everyone probably watching, I had the best idea for a Gwenpool spine. They didn't listen to me. It's fine. It's not fine. I'll forever be upset about it. But I specifically liked the full body Gwenpool one better than the other one, which was like a middle body up,
Okay.
So I like the spine more. And ultimately I was like, well, I'm gonna look at that spine more, you know?
It's true.
So that's where that came from. And I don't hate it. I don't love the boxiness, but I don't know.
I do love that. I remember that cover.
Yeah, I like the cover.
If they just would have like how hard would it have been just to make the water all the way up?
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know.
All right.
It is annoying, but I agree. It is annoying, but I like the spine more. So
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to doubt your cover selections.
I mean, thank you. Should have been called the Gwen Omnibus. So true though.
Right?
So true. March 21st from comicreleases.com. Okay, well, I don't know if he didn't update it, but I'm hoping it's February 8th per previews. Was it my turn?
I really don't know. James, do you know?
Let's go back to Kaden then. I'm gonna have to buy their gold memberships too. That's that website. It's the same as Prime for unlimited express shipping, but you pay the same price each year that Amazon charges a month. Love that.
That's awesome.
Read Comics here does reward points, and I used them last week to get some Wiccan and Hulkin one shots for free. Love that.
Oh, that's cool. That. Yeah, rewards are great. To get anything for free is like
so true.
Gold.
And I'm still mad Disney won't let Marvel print omnis of the Buffy seasons and call them omnibuffs. If only. That would be amazing. Okay, well, we don't know whose it was. I can go if you want, or you can go.
You probably have more than me, so you go.
Well, because I read some little stuff like Cleo and Cornelius.
Come on,
look at these guys. Love them.
I love the like hands on his hips, like
yeah. So I really like the art in this. This is a picture book. I actually think I got this from Book Outlet. And it was sealed.
Come on.
That was weird, right?
I'd
Yeah.
love for you to, like, hold that up. You're like, "I got this from Book Outlet," and then the cover falls
It
off.
all fall. The pages fall out. Of course, I mean, I feel like I'll read any cat book at this point in my life, right? So, this has to do with like ancient Egypt and Rome, and these two cats and how they're treated where they live. They're treated, they got the good life, right? They got the good life. Here's some more art from the
Wow, look at
inside.
that art.
And one day, one of them goes on a boat and accidentally, like, he's eating fish, right? He accidentally gets taken over to, is that where they go? Yeah, he goes to Rome, where he lives a totally different life. He's not like basking in luxury, but it's more exciting for him. He's able to. Well, actually, he doesn't love it. He wants to go back. He's like, no. She goes to find him. She realizes she likes that lifestyle, right? So they're just kind of learning about their life, and there's like travel involved. And I thought it was really cute, and I really like the art. I don't want to ruin the whole thing. It's not that long. Not that anyone watching wants to read this, but I really liked it. Cleo Cornelius, A Tale of Two Cities and Two Kitties.
How'd they do that rhyme? How did they come up with that
It's
rhyme like
great.
that?
It's great. So I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was great. So if you have kids, maybe this is good for your kids. Maybe this is good for you and your soul. Maybe you want
Yeah.
to go to the library and read this and enjoy it for yourself. So I'm just saying it was very good, and I really like the art.
The
So
art the art looks amazing.
it's beautiful. Beautiful. I liked it.
Cool. Am I up? I'm just kidding. I
Yeah.
know. All right, so this was a library borrow. This was our pact.
You
Remember,
finished it.
I finished it.
Nice job.
This is by Ryan Andrews. It's a first, second book. Let me read the back. I feel like I'm not providing like any detail about what I read. Put the
I
glasses
get it.
on.
It's
I
hard.
can't see. Don't mind my Benjamin Franklin glasses. So, actually, I don't need to read the back. I'll just tell you what it's about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rip them off.
Oh, whoosh. So basically, these kids, there's like this festival where they put, which I was like, why are you doing that? Why are you putting that in the water? And that's when I have to like just relax. They put these lanterns in the water and let them go down the river, right? So this group, these bunch of friends, they decide they want to know, where do the lanterns go, right? And I was thinking, I could tell you where they go. You're littering. No, sorry. Um, so I believe it was like 5 friends, right? These boys are on their bikes, and as they get into the trip, they're just following the river, along and watching the lanterns float. So they slowly but surely start trailing off. Like one kid's like, "Oh, my mom's making tacos. I'm going home." So slowly the kids start to like, even though they made a pact, they're going to do this. They're going to see where the lanterns go. The kids start dropping off as they do. So then there's like there's another kid who wants to desperately be friends with one of the guys in the group. And they're kind of mean to him. They think he's a nerd. But he keeps following along. So it ends up everybody but the nerdy kid, who ended up being my favorite, and like the leader of the bike pack, they end up going on this adventure together. So it ends up being about how the popular kid basically misjudged the nerdy kid, and it's about their adventures. And it gets a little like there's a little bit of like, I guess you'd say fantasy or like sci-fi in it, where
There's like bears, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bear.
Yeah.
And he is like the best. It did start to drag in the middle. Again, a lot of the things that I'm saying, take with a grain of salt, because I feel like this last week of reading, I was just like a little bit rough on my reading. I think it was more my mood versus the actual work. And I know you can't run around saying that all the time, right? Because like you're always going to be reading at different times. You're going to have a different mood that day. But like I do, and like if all of my reads were 3s or below, was it really the book, or was it my attitude? So anyway, I did really enjoy this. It did start to drag in the middle, but I did love the art. Let me show you some art. Let me see if I can find a picture of that bear, because he was cool. I didn't find the bear, but this is like someone that they run into. She's like this little scientist. Isn't she cute?
I remember her.
Yeah.
I actually read like half this from the library. I want to
Okay.
say a year or two ago,
Okay.
but I never finished it. I actually have a copy now, though. I found it for really cheap, so I need to revisit that. Did you ultimately give it like a 3? Is that what you
I
said?
gave it a 3.
Okay.
The art is amazing in it. Um it's a sweet story too, and it just kind of reminds you of like, people say, "Oh, kids can be mean." It reminds you of that, and it just kind of just like a good reminder to be more kind in general. Um but it was fun. I think if Mike is oh, there's Mike. I was gonna mention because on Instagram, Mike mentioned to me, he's like, "Oh, it reminds me of Paper Girls." I'm like, "Yeah, there's something about that cover,
Yeah.
right?"
The bikes and the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I could totally see that. Um, so I enjoyed it. It was a good library borrow. And if you have it there on your shelf and you already, I think you'll read this and be like, and you'll come to me and like tell me, like what I should
Change
have,
your mind.
what I should have enjoyed in it. But
We'll see. Maybe I need to do that. You know what? I'm gonna make a little note. I'm gonna make a little note. Come back
and
for
I,
that.
I know I tease you about that, but I mean that as a compliment because
Yeah. No, I love that.
sometimes you make me like just take a step back and just like see things more for what they are. You know what I mean?
And maybe you're gonna do that with Plutona. I don't know. You're gonna
Well,
make me revisit it.
listen, I think it is worth a revisit, but
No, and I agree. And as we've talked about before, like even sometimes we'll reference books we read like 2 years ago, look it up on
yeah,
Goodreads, and be like, "How did I rate it? Whatever I rated it." Like you know, your opinions throughout
yep.
time could change. At least for I think you and I think it could speak for you with that because we've
Oh
had
yeah.
the similar feelings. Just strange.
But you know what's interesting? You brought up Plutona. Like, I don't know if I should say this or not, but there are certain elements, certain themes, I should say, that I think could hold true in both.
I thought
The
you were gonna do the flying again.
oh, remember when I
Yeah, so good.
um yeah. So
Okay.
you have to let us know when you reread
Oh,
Plutona.
absolutely. Of course, it'll happen.
I can't
One
wait for
one of
that.
these reading updates, it's gonna happen.
Nice.
Hayden's just imagining the Marvel Red Omni logo and then the Buffy logo on the black spine.
Hmm.
Boom could never with their highlighter spines. It's so true. And while we're at it, let me move my fountain pen ink aside from the shelf for some reason right in front of the highlighter yellow.
Oh,
Boom,
that's what
Buffy
you mean.
cover.
Okay.
Like it's beautiful, beautiful. And then it's like, what? Beautiful. Why'd we do that?
What like
I'll never understand. I won't. I don't get it. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad Boom did it, but I'm bothered.
it almost seems sometimes, right, that there's like a different designer, like somebody different designs the spine than the cover. Could that
Yeah,
be?
it's like I guess, but that seems weird, right?
Yeah, it doesn't I don't know, stuff like
Yeah,
that, it just doesn't match up. So it makes you think like, I
yeah, I
don't know.
don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Something you won't be surprised by. I read stuff on my cat. Okay,
Oh no.
here's the thing. So apparently there was a blog back in the early aughts, right?
I remember it. I
You
definitely
do?
remember. Yeah.
I didn't know about it, but I saw this little book at one of the places that I can get like 15-cent books at, right? And I was like, well, of course I need this, right? And there was a nice introduction that was like several pages long about the blog and like how it came about and everything. And then it's truly just like photos from that blog, right? Which is like stuff on cats, right? Which I had a good time with because look at these. I mean, it's fun.
God.
It's just
That
fun.
the cat with the glasses.
I
That cat is so
mean,
mad.
look at Mozart. He hates it. Like,
Oh.
so it was just a fun time. It's one of those little like little coffee table
Yeah.
books, to
Yeah.
pick up. And it had a nice introduction, which I really like too. And look at this guy, first picture. Come on now.
Oh my goodness.
So it was just a nice little fun read. I gave it 3 stars. That's how
Nice.
I feel about it. Yeah.
Nice. I'm just making sure I didn't forget anything. Okay. So I already went through what I read, what I completed, but I did have one book that I DNF'd, did not finish.
Love when this happens.
And I feel
I
I
mean, I
should
don't, but
I feel I should apologize to you because I think you really liked it.
did I?
We both really love the art. That I know.
Okay.
So let's just get it over with.
Okay.
The Fifth Beatle.
I did like it. I did really like it.
Here's the thing. Before I even say anything, you know me very well. What am I going to say?
Um, you got you got bored, right? You got bored.
But you know I have this thing with like I don't do so well with like straight up like retail like not that I like again, not like I know every single thing about the Beatles history. But like I already knew a lot and I really I really do like the Beatles. I'm not some Beatles hater. Um I got about halfway through and I got to the point where I'm like I don't want to pick it up.
Mm.
And it was like a drag to me. I was bored. What can I
That's
say?
fair. That's
I was
fair.
bored.
Look, we don't have time to be bored.
And
You know.
I think a large part of it has to do with let me see if I can explain this without making it too long. You know, most of my career up until semi recent years, I worked on like, semi music industry. So like I still love music. I'm still very passionate about music, but like to read about a band, I sometimes I'm just not into it cuz it's like does that make any sense? Cuz like I know like the inner workings, I know a lot of stories, I know the histories, so I'm like, you know?
You mean like a nonfiction work? Because Reid
Yes.
actually is going to come out with a fiction work about a band. Just saying. Uh,
But see, but when and I'm not just saying this, I was actually going to bring up, some of Reid's work. Reid always incorporates some of his life, and he puts like little touches in that makes it more personal. So to me, that comes from another perspective. He's just not regurgitating the history of a band or a certain time of a band. Like, I just think he puts more into it and makes it more. It's more of his take or how he experienced something. So I can appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't finish it. I don't feel bad about it. Um,
I don't feel bad about it either. I mean, it'd be different if you were like, I just read May's book and I thought it was trash, and I'd be like, what's happening to our friendship? But
and I know we already showed the inside, but the art is amazing,
it really is.
you know. But yeah, I didn't finish it, so obviously I didn't rate it. How can I rate it? I didn't finish it.
That's fair. And you know what? I think we need more of this in our lives, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been a victim of struggling through a book that I am bored with,
Yeah.
just so I can finish it. In fact, I may bring one up that I wasn't necessarily bored with, just angry at. And I did finish it, and maybe I shouldn't have. We'll see. But I do want to say, Mike, where do you get 15-cent books? Are
Good
you
question.
anywhere near Tennessee? That's the question I have back for you. I think with the Boom Library editions, they just threw the cover for a single issue on alongside their basic spine, whereas Dark Horse commissioned everything new, including cover art. Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
I think that sounds right. Send it this way. I need to prop up a desk. That's funny. Reid better be watching this. They're talking about his books. I think he said he wasn't. I don't know what he's doing. I forget. He said he was doing something. It's all right. One day he'll watch it.
He will. He'll see it, or you'll tell him about it.
Yeah, I'll definitely tell him about it. Not that anybody cares, but I also read Get Out of There, Cat.
I'm sorry, my responses now are just laughing. Just
So
laughter.
there is an introduction, but then and there's like there's like little text moments, right? Where they're describing things, and there's always a little caption about why that cat needs to get out of there.
Get out of there.
And it was just nonsense entertainment. And sometimes I need some levity in my reading, okay?
Listen,
It's still reading.
judge free zone here.
I also gave this 3 stars. It was nothing. It was not, blowing my mind. Okay, but it was worth it. Again, that was one of those 50 cents or something, right? Not a lot of, money invested into that. It's fine. One, like, I believe you're done, right? So I have two more.
Okay.
And I'm starting should I start with the good or the bad?
Let's go good then bad because I
Okay,
think the bad is going to be a really fun conversation.
that sounds right. So the good will be because we're so good at technology here. Of course,
Oh,
it's Lonely Lady at the Center of the Earth by Zoe Thorogood, which she describes as an autobiographic novel. It is by Image. A lot of people have been talking about it. I read, of course, The Impending Blindness of Billy Scott, which was one of my favorite reads last year. It was so good, and this one was even better.
wow.
It was about her life after writing that book, writing this book. It was one of the most unique
Hmm.
autobio comic works I've ever read and may ever read. It deals with her struggle with depression, her struggle with writing the book that you are reading, which is fourth wall kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
The art throughout it is incredible. The way she put together panel work and the kind of things that it did were it's hard to describe, which is why I'm having a hard time, but it was fantastic. It's January now. I feel like this is going to be on my favorites of the year
Wow.
already. I
Okay.
know, it's high praise. I would really love for you to read it,
I have it
but
on my wish list. It's
I
on
will
here.
say for anyone interested, please go into it knowing that like hard things are talked about, and if you're not in the right headspace for that, maybe take a
Okay.
step back. But um it's it's still it was so good. It was so well done. I really liked it. It's going into its third printing right now, I think. I'm hoping,
Wow.
which is awesome. I'm hoping one day it is just a trade. I mean, I don't have it. I am going to buy it. I need to own it. And I don't usually feel that way. I read on Hoopla and I'm like, oh no, now I need to buy this. Because even when I love things on Hoopla, I just don't feel the need. But I'm like, no, I want to own this. I want to have it somewhere. I want to be able to reference it, right?
I love
Because I
that.
wish I could show you some of the art in it right now, but that's going to be hard on my silly phone or whatever, right? But I should have grabbed my iPad. I didn't do it. But yeah, it was so good. Absolutely 5 stars. Again, I think I'm going to be talking about it at the end of the year
Okay.
already. So mark my words. It's January 19th. Let's talk. Let's refer back. Let's see if it worked, right? But yeah, it was great.
All right. My fear is, you know how I don't do so well. It makes me sound like a
Because I'm
real
hyping it up too much.
no, it makes me sound like a real jerk. Like I don't really. When have you heard me say that I loved reading about somebody's life? I know it makes me sound like a horrible person.
No, I hear you. I hear
Especially,
you.
I
And
should
it's
say like if they're like long gone and dead, and like maybe like more of like in the history genre, then it's different for me. But maybe this will be the one that was like Mary.
well, and I hate to say that
Broaden
because
your mind.
I could be wrong, and there's some people who may not like it. However, I think it's so uniquely done,
Yeah, that
and
sounds good.
is not like a typical graphic memoir because I've read plenty of those and I've loved plenty of those.
Yeah.
I like memoirs about people's lives, but it was just so different, so different. I think it's worth it.
Do you like when memoirs start like when they start with like I was born on
No.
oh, sorry. If it's more than one page about being an infant, I'm like, I gotta go. I
Oh
gotta
well,
go.
I felt that way about Melanie C. Sporty Spice's
Oh yeah, you told me
memoir,
that. Yep.
which I did end up really liking because there was so much Spice Girl stuff that was so fun to listen to. There were like industry like knowledge that
Nice.
she had, and she
Yeah.
goes into how the industry treated them, and like
Wow.
it was fascinating, and I really liked those parts, and that elevated it for me. But there were like 2 hours of her childhood that I was like, I'm sorry, girl, I do
Yeah.
not care. I just don't. So,
Or like, everybody, oh, I started playing guitar when I was 3 years old. Yeah.
I'm
And
like, did you?
I was a brain surgeon at 3 too. How did you know?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I'm with you. I don't love that.
No,
Speaking of memoirs you don't love, oh, Thank you, thank you, thank you. So
All right, everyone get ready, because this one is a very popular book right now,
it
and
really is. A lot of people are talking about it. I was
but
so excited when my hold came up.
I haven't really heard a lot of people loving it, though, I have to say.
I went through some Goodreads reviews, and I
You
did
did?
not see a lot of love in either.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and I mean, I'm sure some people did, and there were some positive ones in there, but there's a lot of negative too. Um, but we are, of course, referring to Matthew Perry's book, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. If I may read my Goodreads review I wrote on this very book, it's one sentence, don't worry. The big terrible thing is that Matthew Perry isn't as charming as he thinks he is.
Oh, zing.
I gave it 1 star. So I'm a big Friends fan, you
Me too.
know. We both are, of course. I have only seen him in like what the reunion special. I've seen various TV interviews throughout the years. He always seemed charming, which is why I specifically referenced that, right? But and we all know he had struggles, drug addiction,
Yep,
alcohol addiction. Drugs was a huge thing, though. He very much goes candidly into those, where he talks about going in and out of rehab, all of the struggles, a lot. I mean, he dealt with a lot, and I feel for anyone struggling with those things, right?
of course, yeah.
Of course. However, he also, he does talk about lovers. He talks about, I feel like all the lovers he ever had that he can name drop, he did, who have
Mm.
like Julia Roberts and
Oh,
his,
no.
like, just dropping all the names of Cameron Diaz and like, blah, 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 right? And how he like inevitably broke up with them for silly reasons because he was like, oh, they're going to leave me. I'm going to. And again, maybe that's part of his struggle and mentally okay. But I didn't love those parts. I didn't love how he talks about when he met the whole Friends cast. He knew Jennifer Aniston previously, had a crush on her. And the first thing he said was, I just had to like figure out how long to stare at her without it being weird. And I'm like, how about don't be weird? I like that rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't love that because he references it again later. He's like, oh, I learned how long to stare at her. And I'm like, it's not
Here's
funny. It's weird.
why I don't know why you would share that, like, as especially
Right?
because they all, I mean, they all seem to be real friends in real life, so, like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
get it. I don't get it.
Like, you can think everything you wanna think, but, like, some things
Right.
I don't know why people share some things, but
And there were certainly moments of that, right? Where I was like, why are you saying this in a book, right? And it wasn't written very, I wasn't blown away by the writing, we'll say.
okay.
When I think about, I mean, I love a celebrity memoir, my favorite of last year was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy,
Yes.
which is praised and praised for her writing because she is such a good writer. It was so well done. She wrote about her trauma, like she wrote about everything, and he writes about trauma and stuff he's dealt with and this horrible addiction. And it just, there was certainly something lacking there, right?
Okay.
Even though he was being so honest and talking about these things, I personally felt like there was something lacking there. Um, and he goes into like money a lot,
Real like,
like,
giving figures, like, of what
oh,
he
figures of what he's made on
Oh,
things. I mean, I know we all know like the whole Friends cast made like 4 million an episode. David Schwimmer was like, "Hey, we all need to be paid the same." Like that was a whole thing. And he
yeah,
talks about that, and he's like, "I thank David for that," yada yada. Which okay. But then he talks about like the next show he does. I think was an Aaron Sorkin show, and they were only going to pay him 50,000 an episode, and he was like, well, we can't have that because they wanted it to be an ensemble cast, so they were going to pay everyone the same thing. And
okay.
he's like, well, but when I'm on, it's going to be like about me, and I'm going to be the star. So he was able to get his money up to 175 or something an episode. And I'm like, why are these details
And I'm sure those
that I know
castmates are
now?
like, if they happen to hear this, like, I don't know.
And yeah, and he was going on about like Aaron Sorkin just like ran a like real tight ship, and there were things I wanted to add to the script, and he was like, "You can't do that," and I was like, "But they're really good ideas, so I guess that's his right." But like and I'm like, so he acted like he was the best about everything, right? He talks about like going into his auditions. He's like, nailed it, was the best, so good, blah blah. And I'm
Okay.
like, it's one thing to like have pride in your work, but it's
Of
another
course.
thing where I feel like you have a ego that's a lot, right? So I kept feeling that and he clearly like he talks about how I don't mean to ruin the thing, but he talks about like how these are the things I had problems with. He wanted to be famous before he was famous. That's all he wanted. He
Wow.
prayed about being famous. He became very famous. And then he talks about that fame and talks about how he can't fly commercially anymore, so he has to, rent a private jet for $175,000 a flight. And
He could fly first class on a regular plane, but just
yeah,
saying.
I'm like, sir, I can't feel sorry for you. And also, yeah, you could do that. Um, like, I don't know. It was stuff like that. But the thing that I think weirded me out the most about it that I have to share is there was a moment when I think he said he was biting into like a peanut butter sandwich. All of his top teeth fall out. Okay. Which is horrific.
Wait, what?
Drugs.
Oh, okay.
So all of his top teeth come fall out. He goes to the dentist and he's like, and they have to like recreate your teeth,
Yeah.
right? They have to
Yeah.
like it's major dental surgery. And he's like, yeah, and it was one of those things where dentists tell you that it's gonna hurt for a few days. And you know how many days it hurt? Like 17 days. And he goes on about how long it hurt and how his dentist was like, he goes off on dentist girl. And I'm just like, why
What?
this dude helped you? What do you mean? Like, I'm just
Yeah.
like, and then later on, he drops like a weird, like few sentence F bomb tirade about the dentist. Okay. And that comes back again at the end where he's thanking people. And he's like, and then to my dentist, huh, just kidding, because like, and I'm just like, bro, what you do with dentists? Like, I didn't understand. It was there were just some weird moments like that. And I thought the money thing was a little tacky and just
Yeah.
kind of like played into his ego more. So the moments that were like you felt for him, but then he talks about flirting with all his nurses.
Oh
It's
my
just
god.
like, yeah, I hated it. I gave it 2 stars at first, and then I talked to Reid about it and more, and he was like, "How did you give it 2?" And I'm like, "You're right. It's a 1 star for me. I can't get over it. I can't get over." And maybe it was just his personality, but like there was still, I think, a lot of depth that was lacking in this book that I wanted from it. That you would think coming out of the end there would be some humbleness from a person who's been through all of this,
Right.
and I didn't feel that. So I'm
Yeah.
bummed. I'm bummed about it. I am.
That to me says he's probably, I mean, he's probably the type that I was just thinking, like, you would think an editor would, or management, or whoever tries to, control his career or help him in his career. He probably is one that you can't like work with, in the sense that he won't listen. It's like his ideas or that's it, right? Because otherwise, maybe I would think that the tone of that book would be a bit different then, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. For some stats, real quick. So there are 50,797 ratings for this book on Goodreads. The top 3 reviews, the first one's 3 stars.
Okay.
So I guess respectable. The next 2 are both a 1 star.
Wow.
And that's all you need to know, I think. I don't know. And maybe someone else will like it. Maybe you'll enjoy it. But I do like how the second 1 star or the first 1 star one has a little part where it's like, dude, how are you blaming your dentist? Like, which I thought was funny. So I don't know. I'm very confused.
But this is why, remember, I've brought this up in the past. This is why I don't, well, particularly if it's somebody that I like, or a show I like, a band I like, a musician, whatever, artist I like. I don't like to know much more than what I know, because this can happen. Like,
Well, and the good news is I don't think this is going to affect my viewing of Friends at all. That is an ensemble cast for a reason. I don't think I'm
Yes.
going to look at Chandler. I already looked at Chandler in some seasons and was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're on drug. Like, I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
like, you clearly are going through something. Like, it's bad. Matthew Perry, of course, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to hurt me. I will say I apologize. No, stop destroying Friends' image. This hurts, but also thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just how I felt, and maybe you will feel differently. I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's how I felt, and I'm bummed about it too. But at the same time, I'm also glad that no other friends have memoirs that can hurt me like this. So, because if they did, I would listen to it probably. Lisa Kudrow, where you at, girl? I feel like you're not going to hurt me in your memoir. Like, that's what
Sh-
I want.
She's my favorite.
She's the best. She
So
really
I
is.
will not read her memoir.
And I'll read it for you, and then I'll tell you
Thank
it's
you.
great.
This is
Yeah,
why I appreciate you.
I will though. I'll be like, because I just feel like she's just gonna make me feel like I'm having a nice time. I'm walking through a park, listening
Yeah.
to a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what she should call it. Walking through the park, listening to a friend.
All right.
It's my story about that one. Sorry to go off, everybody, but
You needed to do that.
sometimes you have to. And speaking of other things you have to do, sometimes you have to say you're gonna read a lot more books than you probably will, and
And then don't.
that's where I'm at right now. So we are going to talk about some books we want to get to as we do during these updates. Does it
Yes.
mean we will? Absolutely not. However, I did say I wanted to listen to the Matthew Perry one, and I did that. So I'm happy for me,
You did
even
say
though it
that.
sucked.
All right. You want me to go with
Yeah, go for it.
what I'm claiming I'll try to read?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's going to be all in a week though. Like if we come back
Oh,
next
we
week
would never. No, just generally things we want to get to.
in general.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think I told no, I think I did tell you I bought this. But I plan on reading the second volume of Cat
Yeah.
Winger.
I don't think you did tell me you bought that,
Did
but I
I?
love that.
This was purchased at a little Barnes and Noble trip.
Love that.
Um, yeah, I really love the. I read a lot of my manga digitally, but since I have the first volume physically and I really liked it, I'm like, I'll just buy it
Perfect.
physically. Um, yeah, so I'm just looking forward to hearing more about this little guy.
So cute.
Are you prep? I see you prepping your screenshots there
Am
or
I?
your phone or something.
I was writing down what I'm gonna read because I'm like I want to be able to reference this later.
Nice.
Um, I actually am a little bit into this, which I started last year, and then I put down for some reason. I think I had homework reading. You know how it goes.
Okay.
But ruining your cat's life by Lauren
Oh,
Burnett.
I feel like I've seen you hold this up before.
I'm sure you have,
Yeah.
because I was reading it and really enjoying it, and I like Lauren's art style in this. It's
Nice.
not all about cats, I think there's some just life stuff in here. Here's stuff about the vitamins, I guess Lauren takes. I don't know, but just interesting little things throughout this. This was a $5 pickup from a half price books in Chicago, which I'm so
Nice.
stoked that I found. Um, but yeah, and there are little cat moments throughout this. But yeah, it looks interesting, and I need to get to it because I did start it. I'm just a little bit into it over
Nice.
here. But what kind of bookmark is this? Even a bookmark? No. Why is it the half price book sticker just all like folded?
It's stuck in there?
They're just like folded.
What the
It's not
hell?
like stuck.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. Okay.
I folded it where the sticky isn't around there. I don't know. But with a cover price of $5 was like, I was very
Yeah.
excited about that.
That's great.
So yeah, I want to get to that.
Nice. I didn't tell you about this one. This is a library hold that just came up, and I know you have it, but I don't think you've started it. PTSD.
I
Is it
have not
PTSD
started it.
radio? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for that.
So
Love
the
that.
only thing is, I got it through Libby. Not that anybody needs to know this part, but I'm curious if I want to ask if anybody's ever heard of this. Would you use Libby? You know how you can choose like open in this app. Um, Ready? It says read with media do. Media do.
I don't know what that is.
And then when you open it, I know this is like, it looks like it goes to a website almost. It does.
That's weird.
I don't know. I'm just not thrilled with that because I feel like it's going to be very slow.
Hmm.
It is slow. All right. Well, these are the problems I have.
That sucks.
Isn't that odd? I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Normally, it just opens within their app,
that is
or
weird.
or you could send it to a Kindle or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Good evening, William.
Hey, William.
Hayden says, speaking of memoirs, the Prince Harry one was
Oh
great.
yeah.
A lot of people were talking about that. I actually put it on hold. I know Jessica listened to it. Hayden is enjoying it. Uh, I can't say I'm like someone who's all about the royals or anything. I don't actually care. I've heard enough about this that I think I'm interested to see
Okay.
what the juicy stuff is. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm curious.
All right. Well, you'll have to tell me about it. You and Hayden and
Certainly.
Jessica.
You're like, I will never read a memoir.
I'm not saying that,
You're like,
but
forget it.
but I just know myself, so why do that, right? So that I can
No,
come on
I
here and be like, "Blah,
understand.
I didn't like it." You know what I
No, I
mean?
totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like I just did? Yeah, I totally get it. All right. Well, I think no one's going to be surprised that I want to read Knights of the Cat Volume 2.
Ah, nice.
I love the first one. The art is just adorable. I mean, look at this guy. He's so goofy. We love him.
He's cute.
So I've been really good about reading the cat books I haven't gotten to this year. So I think this is something I will achieve.
I love
Hopefully
that.
by next time.
Nice. And by the way, if I don't read PTSD Radio, it's because I got annoyed with the way I had to read it.
That's absolutely fair.
All right, I think this one's going to make you happy, but
Oh.
I think it's time that I read
Mhm.
The Impending Blindness of Billy Scott.
There we go. Love that.
So,
Love this.
yeah. It's on Comixology Unlimited, which I was like very happy to see.
That's awesome.
And I wanted, it's like we always talk about this. It's like I have all these services and then I don't use them. So,
Same.
how about I change that? Especially if it's something that comes so highly recommended from you.
Totally. I'm excited for you.
Thanks.
Batmanda cat books equals best books. You understand me, Batmanda. Absolutely. Speaking of Creepy Cat Volume 2.
Wait, I'm getting confused. You read a book called Creepy that had a cat on the back.
Yeah.
And then you read Creepy Cat. Oh, you're going to read Creepy
I'm
Cat.
going to read Creepy Cat. I read the first one. I really liked it. And it is in color, which I like too.
That's cool.
And it is just a fun time.
Nice.
Like it's kind of like an Addams Family style sort of family. I say that lightly, just kind of the aesthetic, I guess, right?
Yeah, even that back cover it just looked like
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah. And the girl,
Yeah.
painting a photo of her and her creepy cat. I really like the first one, so I'm looking forward to those. What else is there to say?
Okay. I don't know why I start everything with. Have you read this or not? I know you have this. I don't know if you read it.
That's fair.
Be Very Afraid of, is it Kanako Inuki?
Oh yeah, I do have that. I was like, what does that look like? I have not read it. I do have it.
This is also, wait, no, I'm lying. I bought this. I got like a good deal on it, so I downloaded it. But is my memory serving me correctly? It's like horror manga, short stories,
Yes.
type of deal.
Yes.
I don't know anything about Inuki. Do you? Do you know anything about?
I don't. I think I read somewhere. Maybe it was in the back of it or something. But
Yeah.
they say like the queen of horror manga. So I guess
Yeah.
I don't know, Ito but a lady. I don't know, but I'm sure it's different. But yeah, I've heard good things. So we'll see. I believe physically, yeah. I need to grab the physical copy. Maybe I'll do that next time. But it's like soft.
Is it?
Yeah. You know how I like weird textures in books.
Yeah.
It's soft.
Nice.
I am excited to read this one, which I have posted on my Instagram. Did I start to read it yet? No, but it's on my list. So it is a next step read. Okay, I'm not lying. which is an adaptation of of Anne of Green Gables. Well, I can't talk.
It's okay.
Sort of is what it says. So this is the cover. If you're like, hey, they look like they're interested in each other, that's right. And apparently, I have not read Anne of Green Gables, but apparently, well, from what I hear, they're always like, oh, Anne and her best friend, they're in love.
Really?
But you don't actually obviously see that on the page. But maybe you know what I mean. It's implied. I don't know.
Like it's like a Rizzoli and Isles kind of situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I guess now these sort of things are happening where they're like, oh, we're making it for real, which is kind of cute. Quill Tree Books put this out. I believe it's YA. They sectioned it in YA at least. I got this in my library. But I'm excited for it, and it looks fun. You know, I like the art style.
I wasn't sure if it was a graphic novel or if it was a book.
It is. It is. And I'm thinking, like, I guess Anne of Green Gables is in the public domain because I've seen several things like this now, I feel like.
Oh, really?
Like, I picked this up, and then Mariko Tamaki, who is a comic writer that I really like, who's also written prose, just came out with, like, something that I don't know how similar it is, but it also seems to be some Anne of Green Gables adaptation, but a YA book. And also, I think it's queer. So I don't know what's happening, but that's fun. But this looks really cute, so I like that.
Nice. I have one more on my stack of possibilities.
Just one?
Just one more.
You know I can't contain myself.
Oh, but you know what? Wait, I forgot to mention I am working on one book. I started this novella. I started it on the train this morning and I got pretty far. Well, far for me. I got up to page 70 already. It's pretty far. It's an Ernest Hemingway novella that I've had for quite some time. The Torrents of Spring. It's a little guy or gal, whatever you want to say. They could have put in a little more effort on the cover, but yeah, I'll just relax and worry about the inside.
Right.
But so far, it's about basically about this guy who his wife leaves him. He doesn't know why, so he kind of goes out on this adventure. He needs to find a job, and he's just kind of wandering. So it's about his travels and how, like, who he ends up meeting. And then I believe where I am now, I think he runs into like another writer type who also works at this factory that he finds a job in. But I know this doesn't sound that exciting, but the way it's written is kind of witty and it's kind of beautifully written. But not in the way that it's like too wordy, if that makes sense. I mean, it's novella.
It does make sense.
It's a novella. It can't be too wordy. But I don't know if like anybody's interested in, I'm just trying to I have 1,000,001 classics and I don't know what my deal is. And I just want to read them because every time I jump into one, I end up learning something or just straight up enjoying it. Or I like the way typically the language is always different from what we're used to reading. And I really do enjoy that, even if it's challenging sometimes. I know some people aren't into when there's like a 3-page description on, on a tree. Like that's a bit much for me too. But you get me, right? Like I like to just challenge my brain a little bit and just read in a different style than I'm typically reading in, So.
Absolutely. I love that.
So I did want to mention, and I think I got this from Book Outlet and look, it's not busted.
Wow.
No remainder marks. Oh, you want to see my little bookmark since we're here?
Of course. Yeah.
I don't know what this character is, but
Oh, cute. Yeah, it's from the Hello Kitty universe.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. So,
love that.
You go, and then I do have one more after that.
Okay. Well, and that's exciting. Would you say that's one of your mashed potato books? Have we talked about mashed potato books? Okay.
Oh dear, I don't know what this is.
One of my favorite book podcasts is Books Unbound, and that is consists of the YouTuber Ariel Bissett, who I adore, and Raylene, who used to be a booktuber back in the day. Anyway, they're wonderful. I love that podcast. They just talk about books. They're great. But they came up with the term mashed potato books, and that came from the idea that you're eating dinner and you save the mashed potatoes for last because like you know it's going to be great. You know it's going to be so good. But sometimes you wait too long and the mashed potatoes are cold and you're like, hey, why didn't I eat those a long time
Mm,
ago when I would have enjoyed them more? But essentially, a mashed potato book is that book that like maybe you've been saving it because you know it's going to be great, but you're also like, when you finally read it, you're like, why did it take me so long to read that book, kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Something that's been on your shelf for a long time, you keep meaning to read, you know
Yeah.
you're going to like it, you think you're going to like it at least. So when you finally read that mashed potato book, you're like, you feel accomplished because you're like, oh, that's been sitting
Ah,
there, you know?
okay. So what I just heard was you want to start doing mashed potato books each
You know
show.
what? We should. And I will credit them every time because they came up with it, of course. But I love the idea. I love the term because I feel
That's
like
cool.
we all have that, right? I mean, there's omnis behind me that have been there 4 years, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll like that, and I just never
Yeah.
get to it, or oh, I think I'll really like it, and I just haven't.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm just wondering if that's because you say you've had classics sitting there, if that's one that you're like, I've always meant to and meant to and meant to,
Oh yeah.
and finally you're reading it and you're enjoying it. Sounds like so.
I definitely am enjoying it, and yeah. I also think it's a matter of I've been reading a lot of graphic novels, and whenever I don't have balance in what I'm reading, I tend to get that way, and that could be play a part into why some of my ratings were like, oh, they're I give them a 3, like down the middle.
Mm.
Um, it could be that because I always like to have different types of books going, and you'll see that next on my next one.
Okay.
Is it? Oh, go ahead.
Was it my turn? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I was gonna ask because I'm already.
Yes, I need to go. But hey, and St. Kristen, have you read or heard of the Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today? It's a cat manga that's getting
Oh.
into anime this year. Yes, cat, not bad. Yes, I've read the first two. I'm like looking at my manga shelf, and I believe I have the first four. I
Nice.
loved the first two, so I'm excited. I didn't know it was getting anime. That's fun. The thing is, though, I say that, and I just never watch anime. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch that one though. There's a cat. Maybe I have to. Speaking of, sad animal facts. Listen, you may have seen me mention this on some show a while back. I don't know. Maybe it was with you. But this book got me at the used bookstore back when I got it. There's a cat, of course, ginger cat on the cover. It says cats can't taste sweet things, and that cat is saying, "Tell me about ice cream again."
Oh.
So it's all animals and sad facts about the animals, right? So giraffes sleep 3 hours a night,
Well, that's
and the
like
giraffe
me.
saying, same, relatable. So the giraffe saying, "What are dreams?"
Oh.
Oh, so
Tell tell me more. I'm like, I want to know more
they're
facts.
interesting, right? So birds can't go to space because they need gravity to swallow, and this bird's saying the sky is the limit. So it's just cute and fun.
Yeah.
And I did get toward the end, and I never finished it. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
I need to
So
ask what's that bookmark you have going on in there?
the one that's not a bookmark, okay, it's a sticker sheet. But hey, I will say it is a book related sticker sheet.
Oh, that's cute.
So
That
yeah,
that's a bookmark.
I mean, I just threw it in because I had it there, I'm sure, and it works as a bookmark. So that counts.
Yeah, that counts for sure.
Wait, so they can make cat appropriate ice cream and they can't even taste it? That's just evil. I believe if it's cat appropriate, there's just not sugar in it anyway because they can't.
And it has to be dairy free.
Right, because they can't process dairy and there's no reason for them to have sugar.
Aw.
So I would say cat appropriate ice cream, which I have not seen. I'm sure exists. Just like dog ones, they're not actually putting like
Oh
pounds
yeah.
of sugar in that.
Alexander has ice cream.
Yeah, and
I have
what's
to
in it?
watch
Oh,
I have to watch
yeah, I
what
was like,
I
watch
guess
out.
he knows.
What do you think's in that? Probably like
I think
dog food? I don't know.
like peanut
Cold
butter.
dog food? Peanut butter makes sense,
I
yeah.
forget, but it smells like peanut butter actually.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
think that's probably the I'll have to look. I don't
Yeah.
really know what's in it. All right. This is a real cheery book, but I think you'll be interested. So one of my friends at work gave me this for Christmas. So it's called Forensics: What bugs, burns, prints, DNA, and more tell us about a crime.
Oh, that is
Oh,
interesting.
isn't that interesting?
I
I'm
like
sorry.
this.
It's by Val McDermid. So it's all about forensic science, and there's like creepy photos inside. I won't show you because some people don't like this sort of thing. Um, but yeah, I'm very curious because it gets real, like into evidence, like how they handle evidence and stuff.
That sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. What's Reed doing? He wants
He
to eat
just,
dinner.
yeah, he walked in here and gave me a sad face and mouth. Food's ready.
Oh,
How does Mary know?
She probably heard the squeaking of the door.
Is it that loud?
It's pretty loud. Is it that loud on your end?
I don't know if I heard the door or I saw your face,
Oh, she said she doesn't know if she heard the door or saw my face.
and
Okay.
it's around that time.
Okay, it's around that time. I do have. Maybe I should cut myself off. Actually, maybe this is the sign that I don't need to pull up more books.
How
I-
many more do you have there?
Which one? This one? This one. Oh, that one. Reed's saying I have to show this one. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Um, Mike wants to know: did you read this because of Dexter, or are you going to? Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I'm big on true crime in general, so it all fits together, right, Mike?
Makes sense. What type of food? Pizza again? We're having chicken stir fry. Is that right?
And zucchini.
Oh,
No.
she said and zucchini. I miss
Oh.
zucchini, Reed.
Sorry, Reed.
It's not summer.
Hey, now.
Okay.
It's
I think
winter.
someone's
Zucchini's
hangry.
Not in season during winter.
Tell him to have like a dinner roll or something while he waits for you.
Chicken and rice.
She said you need to have a dinner roll or something while you wait. Do we have dinner rolls? We don't have dinner rolls.
Oh, sorry.
If only. Okay, so Reed says I have to show the Elsinville Club as if I'm going to read it soon.
Oh, jeez. Reed, let's just give up on this. Come on.
She said, "Oh, geez, Reed, let's give up on this."
No, it was her idea to do this entire challenge.
It was
Yeah.
not my idea to read this, though.
That sounds like your fault. You trusted me.
Wow.
You made your biggest mistake.
Wow. If I may just remind people of this mess of text. All right.
Yeah, he wanted to punish you.
He is punishing me.
That's a punishment.
He signed it
Where?
in the front.
It's probably a whole paragraph.
You gotta actually look at the front.
Oh yeah, he did sign it.
And he
Is
said,
it a good-
It's probably a whole paragraph he said. He did sign it like to read. What does
Oh,
it
that's
say?
cool.
To read, have a big slab of comic book hell. He even knows. We hate him. What kind of name is Dorkin? That's what these guys are saying. I'm a wizard. Wait, is that in the art? Or did he draw that?
He drew those.
Oh, that's cute.
He drew
Okay.
all those guys?
He didn't draw the guys, he drew the bubbles, though.
Oh,
That
okay.
they're saying.
I was like,
He drew
wow,
the
he really-
bubbles and then the little thing for Reed.
Yeah, he
Nice.
was nice.
Yeah, he was super nice. I was there for that. But I mean, then he writes stuff like this. So it's like, is he super nice to me?
No, he's friends with Matthew Perry, I bet.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
If we
She said he's friends with Matthew Perry, I bet.
good one, man.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Were you gonna any
was
parting
gonna
words?
go.
I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. Okay, thanks.
You're going where?
I'm going to in there with you.
Oh,
He said you're going
you're
where?
on air.
All right. Bye. Love you. Oh, okay. Because he left. One last thing. Sad Emerald Facts baby talk.
Okay. Okay. What in the world?
So it's baby things. It's about
Oh,
baby animals.
Now, baby animals. I mean, what was I thinking?
Yeah. Yeah. So like here's one. Cheetah brothers stay together their whole lives, but Cheetah sisters split up.
What the
And
hell?
I know. This Cheetah saying our spots clashed anyway. And they're like,
Okay, I think these books would upset me. I
"You
can't.
said, what the hell? I know.
Like,
Oh,
can we look at the title of these two books? Sad Animal Facts.
I know. I probably shouldn't,
Oh,
but like
man.
they're kind of great though, right? I just found the cat one.
Oh boy.
I'm afraid to read it. I haven't read it yet. Let's read it.
Lay it on me. Go ahead.
Cats don't recognize their grandparents. and this little kitten saying, "Who are you and how do you know my mom?" That's kind of funny though, right?
I know for a fact that cats remember their grandparents.
Okay. Wow. You're like, forget you, Brooke Barker. You don't know what you're talking about.
They mean their cat grandparents, right?
Yeah, of course. I see what you're
Okay.
saying.
Yeah.
You're funny. Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe I won't get to these then. Maybe they'll be too sad.
I don't know. They're bumming me out. Like I'm bracing myself before you read one.
All right. Well,
I
then
don't know.
maybe I'll put those in a different pile.
I
But
think
anyway, sorry. I'm excited about food. I feel like Reed's gonna be mad at me.
yeah, we can't have this every time. You got to
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost been an hour and a half, so I get
Yeah. We've done it. But everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us. We
Yes,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
it. We love hanging out with you guys. If anyone's watching later on, please leave a comment. Tell us what you're currently reading, what
Please
you
do.
want to read. If you've read any of these, maybe you love the Matthew Perry book. I'd like to know why. I mean, truly, like if you liked it, I'm happy for you. Why?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
we may talk a good game and we joke around and say whatever, but really, if you like a book and we hated it, that's what it's all about. Like,
It's fine.
Yeah.
Mary and I have been there. We've disagreed about things. And
absolutely.
we live our lives. We're just like, cool.
That's
Like
what makes it
if you like
fun.
something I didn't like, I'm really actually happy for you. Because
Yeah. Exactly.
But thank you everyone. Another great
Oh, thank
show. Much love,
you.
awesome people. Thank you, Hayden.
Thank you,
Have a good night, William.
William.
Good night, everybody. Batmanda, thank you. Which Had Atelier is my currently read. Okay, love that. I read the first several volumes and it's so good. I need to get back into it.
Nice.
So nice job, Mike. But yeah, have a good night, everybody. And we may be back next Thursday. Seems maybe likely. I don't know.
Likely.
Most likely. Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good. You'll see us here. Most likely. We'll let you know. Bye, everyone.
Bye.